So, where should we start?
Where should we start?
Your previous experiences or Shobli?
Anything you like, from the beginning to the end or the end to the beginning, it's all a story.
Okay. I would like to start with a bit early stage story, maybe your first entrepreneurial sign. When did you realize that you love building?
Okay, so I think it's better to also start a bit earlier because entrepreneurial being an entrepreneur is a bit overrated. So I started as a sales agent, doing B2C sales and B2B sales on the phone, calling. Mostly people are not interested. 99 people are not interested, and then one sale. That's the ratio. Okay, and this is where I started my career. And for 3 years straight, I worked as a salesperson. And it's a kind of a boring job, or so they think. Yes. But it then builds up your negotiation skills, your patience, your resilience. So boring jobs are a very important part of becoming ready for a journey like being an entrepreneur. And really and truly back then the names changed a lot. So after being a salesperson, I became a sales manager, and then a business developer, and then a lead generation manager, marketing, and back then they used to call us growth hackers. They're all names: entrepreneur, hustler, doesn't really matter. It's someone who's trying to achieve something or make something from nothing. So my first entrepreneurial, to answer your question, my first entrepreneurial venture was a coffee booth. Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
Okay.
This is the first time I hear it.
It's an interesting one. We used to work in a call center. My mentor had a company, and this company had over 350 people who worked in it. It was a building in Cairo, Marghani, and we had to walk like about 200, 300 meters to the outside road, and walk to the on the run petrol station to get coffee. Okay, and I did the math, and I found that we could possibly have a successful business selling coffee and tea to people in the company. And for a long time inside the company, companies wanted to take the kitchen upstairs. But my mentor, I think, wanted big rent, so nobody would take it. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to take the kitchen because I know you want to rent it too expensive. You're not going to give it to me cheaper. So I rented a corner. They used to throw garbage in that corner. And I built it as a booth. And I fundraised from my friends Al Ahwa, on the car, nice. where we hang around in the evenings. And also even in that small venture, you know, I saw investors step back. Okay. And new investors emerge. And eventually that business made a lot of money. It was unfair, to be honest. It was unfair advantage. I was an insider. And
how did they accept it in the company?
Well, the company was like, who did this? It's an internal person. And I remember doing all these small things, like when we were about to launch, I found out that coffee machines are really expensive. They were not included in my initial financial plan. So I'm just like, you know what? Well, at least we have a fridge. But we haven't yet hired someone to sell and buy, right? Someone who stands in the booth. So I'm going to do something really interesting to get everyone's attention. So what I did is we bought stock, cola, Pepsi, water, chocolates, everything, yeah? And we put it in that fridge, glass fridge, yeah, you can see everything inside. And then we put a paper from the inside saying, we trust you, take what you need, pay the guards. So there was a security guard in the entrance. And obviously, I did the math here. 40% of what you could, 40% of what you sell is profit. And if you don't have any other costs. So I went to my mentor and I said, I bet you 60% or more of the people in this company are honest. And he said, yeah, of course. I said, okay, if that's so, then at least we will get our money back. I never did that calculation. Anyway, we got our money back. But what we got even better is attention. So we're like, oh, this crazy dude, he's giving free drinks for free. You don't have to pay if you don't want to. He's not going to catch you. I'm not going to catch them. There's no camera, nothing, you know? So I was just like, I told Am Zakaria, the guard, he was probably making a bit of money on the side himself from this. I told him, if somebody pays you, just tell me by the end of every day how much you've collected.
Okay.
And for a few weeks that went on, and then we bought the coffee machines and the business kicked off. And over 3 years, we sold, honestly, the numbers were crazy. I think it costed us about 50,000 Egyptian pounds back then to start it. And over 3 years, it sold for 1,400,000 Egyptian pounds. And I think the net profit was about 25 or 30% after rent and expenses and stuff. And I was like, it clicked in my mind, oh my God, these things work.
No way.
Yeah. So
And this is the first time you put a system on autonomous mode then?
Yeah. No, we hired people, but one thing I remember doing that was a bit interesting in a sector like that is, even though we were a small business, I insisted that we have a system, like a POS system. And I remember back then, I don't remember the name of the system, it's Canadian software. And even though it was expensive, it was $30 or $40 a month, and honestly, maybe the salary for the guy standing in the booth was about $200 or $300. So it didn't make sense to pay that much for a system, but I enjoyed watching the sales on my phone. And also seeing what's selling more, etc. So the numbers are really important.
That's
Analytics,
nice.
even in the simplest businesses, like a coffee booth or a snacks bar. Yeah.
Inshallah. Now let's go to the other side of the spectrum.
Okay.
The biggest failure. What was it and when was it?
The thing is, I don't look at anything as a failure. That's the problem. The biggest hit I got in my life was when I lost my mentor.
Good.
So my mentor, his name is Henry. He was a revert Muslim, and his Muslim name was Suleiman. And basically, I worked under him as an employee and as an entrepreneur. And it was an incubator environment. So when I left the call center and I started working on software, this is where it all kicked off. Back then, some of these very young companies were starting to form themselves in Egypt, and we wanted to be a part of the ecosystem. There was no ecosystem, no entrepreneurial software ecosystem, no companies like now. So I enjoyed working without worrying about money because we had a call center and a marketing and affiliate marketing company that worked on behalf of companies in the UK, and we had great money to do whatever we want. So I was working with a team of 20 people who all didn't have to worry about raising fund or worrying about money, and they could spend time in an amazing place like this and just work on the stuff they wanted. We had 4 or 5 ideas we were working on: mobile apps, directories, apps like Uberization, Uberizing stuff in Egypt, and we were flying. And then the biggest natural failure was that I was on a trip on my honeymoon, and I got a phone call from a friend letting me know that my mentor got a brain stroke and that he's in a coma, and 2 weeks later he died. And that was the biggest business collapse of my life, because then we realized that what we were living was not sustainable without him. Obviously, the inheritance of the company found that division was spending a lot of money with no return. And that's how startups are, as you know. You have to invest a lot without any guarantee. You invest your time, your effort, your money, your reputation, and you have to make that trade sometimes for greatness and sometimes for nothing that people can measure, but you do gain a lot on these ventures. So that's that.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's life.
It's like, and now I'll take you to the startup. Let's go into Shobly. If you can explain to us what's Shobly and how did this idea come to your mind?
So after my mentor died, and this is a story, right? We worked in the affiliate marketing sector for a long time. Marketing on behalf of other companies in the UK and outside, providing sales and marketing services or sales and marketing funnels and solutions on behalf of other companies. We would take the risk of creating the marketing strategy, of creating the funnel, of investing into leads and into making sales, and then we would get paid per sale or per lead, hot lead, right? Which is great. It's a great industry. You learn a lot from sales and marketing. But then the urge to actually sell and market our own thing got us to think. But what really got us to move was COVID. So in COVID, companies had to sometimes reduce their marketing budget for good and bad reasons. Sometimes because they've had, natural growth because people are at home and using the internet and, they don't need you anymore. They have natural growth. They don't need the marketing. Or for other reasons, like COVID so we used to market for MG Group in the UK, and we had a great contract with them. And what we used to do is we used to get paid when they had someone walk through their showroom door. Every time someone would walk into an MG Group, so Fiat, Harley Davidson, Mini Cooper cars, all these are under MG Group in the UK. So we had a contract with them, and they would pay us £50 every time someone just walked through the door. So we created this amazing funnel where we automatically, before AI by the way, before automations, we used to target people who listed their cars for sale with SMS and with email marketing. And we would also encourage them to visit the showrooms of Mini Cooper. And honestly, for a fraction of that £50, and we used to make great money. But then when, and MG was happy, everybody was happy. Our quality was top notch. We wouldn't tell them how we would create those leads, but we would send them great customers and they were happy with the relation. Now, what happened is, after COVID, there was a semiconductors problem in the world, which affected the manufacturer of cars in Germany and Europe. Eventually, there was not enough cars to be sold. So there was no need for marketing. Anyway, with these hits, we had to take those punches because after all, they have a contract with you as long as they need your business and they are in business. If any of that changes, like if a technology comes out and now they're able to figure out marketing themselves, or if something in their line of process or their business gets affected, you take that punch as well, because they can't afford you anymore, right? You're just one part of a bigger business. And that pain and punch got me to thinking, I want to build something that I have full control over. That was very naive, because you never have control over everything. And I want to build a company. So we thought about software because we're not very operational. We are a remote team. We are an online digital team. Anything to do with the cloud is ours. Anything on ground, we suck at. Anyway, so we thought about many things. We thought about creating solutions in the UK and in Europe, but then we felt like there's a very big white space and challenges, obviously, in the Arab world, in the Middle Eastern world. Come on. So we decided to study what could we build. And we came across this idea because we also worked in e-commerce for a bit and we understand marketing. And e-commerce is really, a website or a platform like an app and ads and the customer who needs the product, right? And then operational part that we don't really get into. So we thought about Shobly as we were inspired by Shopify's success. And back then we came across Sellaba. It was a very, very small company. I think they had 50 people or less back then. Yeah. And we were like, we want to get into this race. Man. We got into the race. And for it's been three years now. And to be honest with you, I always like to say this. we spent more time building ourselves first to be ready to build this startup. So, as you sometimes get into these ventures, you don't realize really what you need to have to be able to build whatever you want to build. So, instead of spending time building the product, sometimes you spend time building your team or individuals or yourself or a skill set you need or something that you figured out along the way that is a part of the success of this startup that you yet don't know much about. But as you know, I think people that deserve to call themselves entrepreneurs are those that have the resilience and the patience to come across something new. You told me about this thing yesterday. What was the name again?
Startup Media Day.
No, that was the two last.
Clay.
Clay.
Yeah.
So I never knew about Clay, and now I know about Clay. So it's something that I'm gonna. So I was checking YouTube videos yesterday about Clay and what people use it for. So, it's just very important for those who want to take this journey to be ready to take the punch again and again about things they don't know about, things they need to learn, skills they need to acquire, etc., etc.
Nice. Can you explain to me the user journey of people using Shobly? How would it? What's the problem they would come with, and how would you solve it?
So the problem is very simple. Commerce has been around forever, and it will always be there. Exchange of goods or services is just how people, live and trade. And if you want to understand online very well, you cannot disconnect it from offline. It needs to be something people use. So the reason a lot of the solutions that we use today exist is because they take a real experience and they make it virtual, and sometimes they make it more convenient and faster. Like me and you talk. The reason why all these phones are really popular is we can talk in different forums without necessarily me having to travel all the way here, right? So also when it comes to commerce, naturally, and we've seen countries that are more developed in terms of adapting these solutions, like the West or China, use these solutions day in, day out. Everybody uses them. Everyone who has a product lists it online and markets it online, exactly like they do offline. In fact, they have better chances online. Now, the problem we're solving is it is not yet, even until today, it is not yet within the habits of the Arab trader to list their stuff online, their goods online quickly, easily, and they need to be techie to be able to do that. So only the ones with a vision, who studied and wanna disrupt, say for example, women's shoes and make a website, and some new brands do use the internet really well, but I think that everyone should and could be using and utilizing these solutions really well. Everyone has a phone in their hands. So our journey is simply go to shobly.com in Arabic from your mobile. You put in your name, the name of your store, the category, create a username and password, put in your phone, and start listing products. Want to add the logo? No problem. Don't want to add the logo? Doesn't matter. Just the name. Name is enough. And in few steps, someone could have a simple yet effective store where they can see their inventory and customers could navigate the products and order the products how they expect that journey to be, not necessarily like Shopify or how Western solutions provide that journey or Chinese provide that journey, because the user experience, the only reason why Shopify doesn't exist in these markets is localization. And when I say localization, we don't mean language, we mean behavior, we mean how people pay, when they expect to pay. So from one country to another, that behavior is very, very different.
And how big is that market now?
So at the moment, Shobly is focused in Saudi Arabia. It started in Egypt, and we have active customers in Egypt. Obviously, the change happening in Saudi Arabia rapidly in terms of infrastructure and support got us interested in the Saudi Arabian market to grow faster. The growth in, I'll tell you one number, the growth in small businesses in Saudi Arabia in 2023, because 2024 numbers didn't come out yet, 2023 was year on year 59%. 59% more businesses, small and micro businesses opened in Saudi Arabia in 2023. So it's a very fast growing market. One other thing great about the Saudi Arabian market, and that's why we chose it, is as these solutions become popular, people start realizing, and it gets into the culture. So everyone wants to have a madgar store, you know, and they want to list stuff. Everyone. I went to Saudi Arabia the other day and I saw a plumber and he had a shop and he said, I'm listing my stuff on Sella. You know, it's so amazing. And that's what's happening. And then everything should be online. People will be finding stuff on Google shopping tab, and the people will be finding stuff as they search online generally, or even your existing customers come back to you faster wherever they are to check your products, your catalog, and possibly make an order.
Nice. And you're now expanding, and you're raising fund.
We're raising fund. We've been raising fund for 2024, and we continue to raise fund this year. We've been close a few times to closing this current round. As you know, fundraising is a very difficult game. From the day you shake hands with an interesting potential interested investor who's right for you and who thinks you are right for them, to the terms sheet, to the milestones is another punch that any entrepreneur gets as they're trying to build something. And then there's always that fight between you and yourself, whether you can make it bootstrapping this or you need to hire a bigger team. And if you want to hire a bigger team of well-talented individuals, you need the money. And then you're jumping between this and that. Should I do this? Should I do that? So it's a very difficult and remarkable journey that teaches one a lot. Fundraising is hard. It's only for the brave. Yeah, so we're fundraising and we're still on that journey. You can hopefully see us in Qatar, Web Summit. We are one of the featured startups from Saudi Arabia in Web Summit Qatar for the second year. They actually gave us the tickets for a very, very interesting price, very, very cheap price. And the reason is, alhamdulillah, we were able to stand out last year. I like to be on videos. I like to make videos. I like to be active on LinkedIn. People can reach me on LinkedIn. So we'll be in the Web Summit.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining us here and
Thank you for this
letting us know the journey. Do you want to close it with a call to action for people to check Shobly?
Yeah, if you're
look here or here.
Which one? If you're thinking about starting anything or selling anything online in the Arab world and you want to do it in Arabic, you want to do it quick and cheap, and also stand out from a user experience perspective, you try Shobly. And if you're an investor, it's coming, whether it's us or someone else. Commerce is coming to the Middle East. Companies already made great progress, and we will be in that race. And hopefully this video in the future will be referenced as a part of a big success story, inshallah. Thank you, everyone.